Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Kevin here with Dustin, and this week we're checking out a couple really cool old school projects you learned back in Italy.
Yeah, I'm really excited to show you guys these projects. There are a couple of projects that incorporate a lot of really good practice techniques that should improve your work a lot. The reason that we're showing this to you today is because I actually got invited to go back to Murano. I'm really excited about that.
Super cool. That's going to be such an awesome trip. Get to go see all these masters you haven't seen for, probably 15 years almost.
Yeah, exactly. I got some old pictures to show you guys of me just working with Cesare Tofolo and some pictures of him in his studio and the amazing work that he was making at the time. So I'm going to say hi to all those maestros, the masters of Italy, and we'll definitely share some of that stuff with you guys when we come back.
Maybe even do some collabs. That'd be pretty cool.
I don't know. If anyone is in that area, in the Venetian, Venice, Murano area, send an email to me, dustin@revereglass.com, and we'll link up. I know I'm going to be doing a demonstration, and love to have you there.
It's very cool seeing, in the pictures, the little perfume bottles that look almost exactly like this one.
I don't know, man. Cesare's look pretty fucking, pretty on point. But yeah, they're all right. For sure.
Absolutely. What are you smoking on this week, Dustin?
Because the outdoor season, a friend of mine dropped by a bunch of this cool flower. I think it's a little Kush, maybe a little bit of diesel on there.
Super nice nug structure, really dense and stinky.
California outdoor. Can't
Very nice. And then we have some super nice Kushes in the concentrate department too. Got some Bubba Kush and some Blackberry Kush. Really nice.
And those are just beautiful, glistening like gems and stuff.
Super pretty, that's for sure.
So we wanted to thank you guys for all your contributions to Patreon and turn on the YouTube ads and everything like that. And anyone who's interested in a sponsorship, just send an email to kevin@revereglass.com and we'll totally look into it.
Absolutely. We just passed 20,000 subscribers on YouTube. So awesome. Thank you guys so much. That is super awesome.
It's bigger than we could have ever imagined when we started this, and so we wanted to thank all you guys for your continued viewership and sticking with us and checking out what we do.
Absolutely. Well, I think it's time we check out these projects.
Cool. Yeah, we'll make these things for you. Let us know what you think, and we'll get to it.
Sounds good.
All right. Yeah, so this week I was going to show you something that I learned in Italy. A couple little cool projects that really will help you with a lot of practice.
So starting out with some 26mm tubing here, and notably this starting point is different than how you would have started it in Italy.
Yeah, that's a good point, Kevin. I modified these projects a little bit, kind of incorporated American pipe making style just a little bit. In Italy, we would have been using much thinner tubing, smaller horns, and definitely been blowing them on points.
So pulling out points as opposed to sealing up your blow tubes. And
so I'm just opening up a blow tube, flaying it open to make that blank. I know you guys have checked out a lot of blanks, but if you're interested, there is a bench trick on pulling points, and you guys should definitely check that out. Even though the skill is not really utilized every day here, it's really good to have it in your arsenal.
Once that seal is nice and solid, cools there, you're going to start adding some horns. So you have a piece of 10mm rod here. Just clean up any bubbles from the end, and you're going to get a little bit of a gather and then seal it to the side of the tube.
Making sure that it's a nice tapered heat and that the connection point is really nice and evenly hot on both points, both things.
And then going in and heating up that 10mm rod, tapered heat from the connection out to what will be the tip of that thorn, pulling away nice and steadily to get that taper.
And you can pull your torch out. That's a great thing to have, is a torch mount. You can definitely grab that from either Blast Shield or Mountain Glass Arts.
And that gives you a little more room to move your blow tube below the level your bench should be at there.
Just going to connect another one, making sure that it's on the opposite side, but up a little bit. And as I go up the tube, I'm going to make each horn just slightly smaller.
Going back in, clicking on your Mirage Flame to get that nice tapered heat, but this one tapered a little bit too close to the body of your vase there.
So I'm just going to take that off and put on another one.
Going with your tweezers and just pull off any excess there. Just a little nub left, and then you can add your new horn right on top.
So yeah, it's really important that you guys know how to correct your mistakes for sure, and so we decided to leave that in for you.
Sealing that on there, making sure it's nice and even with the other one, and then use a tapered heat to pull it off.
So just heating up where the point is going to be to make sure that's the hottest area right now. And I'm just slowly pulling and making sure that becomes a nice taper.
Brushing it on the edge of your flame there to get that very tip off. And if it doesn't come off first try, go back in, pull off with the edge of your rod there. And you're going to work your way up your vase.
So now I'm just going up, and this is going to be at a 90 degrees from the last two, and up above the last one.
Focusing most of your heat on that rod, but getting the tube hot enough that they'll stick together nicely. Nice fluid seal. And then pull this one off.
Yeah, the reason why you want to be careful with the tubing heat is because you could push in and dent that tube, and you want to be careful not to.
Working your way up, just adding on, kind of going around the tube as you go. So you have a kind of even distribution on all sides, not too lopsided. Going back in to pull that taper off and adjust it a little with your tweezers if it needs it.
Heating it up, making sure that that's really nice and even with all your heat all the time with glass blowing. It's important that the entire piece, whatever you're working on, is hot all the way around, and one side is not hot and one side is cold. That will really disrupt the evenness and fluidity of what you're making.
Right, if one side of the horn is hotter, it's not going to flow right. Maybe you'll get some scuzz or something on the surface from some stress. Making sure it's nice and hot all the way to the core really helps.
So we're just heating up little bits of the 10 mil, attaching them, making sure that that's an even, solid connection, and then heating up the tip and then pulling it out and pulling it more so it makes a nice tapered horn. So I'm just gonna add a couple more horns. One here, and I'm just gonna make them smaller and smaller.
Get that nice seal on, let it solidify a little bit, and then you're just using your lynx flame for these since they're a little bit smaller, and pull off that taper.
You can see it just coming to a tip there and a nice even gradient the whole way down. And now that I have this last one on, I'm just gonna pull it, straighten it out a little bit, make sure it's a nice point. You guys should be careful, these are sharp, they will poke you.
And now you're going to add a bit of a beaded lip to the top of this vase for a little bit of flow, a little bit of structural integrity added to the top there.
When you're opening up the beaded lip, you want to make sure you put your flaring tool or jacks right on the inside and not flare, but push down so that it's even. The interior wall is even all the way through.
Adding a little bit of heat back in there, and you're going to flare a little bit more with your jacks. Just putting them inside and then spinning nice and evenly. Give a little bit of a flare there, and then work out any tool marks, and you're going to add a last couple thorns right up near the top, almost on the beaded lip.
The reason I'm adding the horns after the beaded lip is because the beaded lip takes so much heat that it would have deformed any horns that I put on.
These are real little ones, just sealing on that 10 mil and then pulling right off with that nice little taper.
Now we're just going to add one more and pull it a little bit with just a little bit of heat, and that's going to be a nice even horn.
Pulling that last little one off there, give a little heat, and now we can set that aside while we start the second project.
Yeah, so you can put that on your bench and let the whole thing cool, and that'll make it easier for you to handle. You definitely can put it in the kiln and do a full annealing cycle to make sure that it's nice and evenly cooled down.
Just going in to create another blank here, just a round bottom on some 26 mil. Then you'll pop a hole and seal up to a 12 mil tube.
So this is a really good thing that you can make as a gift for your grandma or mom or anyone who doesn't dab, but I think that people who do dab would like it too.
Yeah, I think this would work really well with some of the thinner concentrates, maybe some clear, something like that. Would be pretty cool. Going into your V-blade here to condense that down, and you're going to break this tubing off.
So I'm just heating up the other side of the blank and snapping that off and make sure that it's a nice size tube for the nice length tube for the piece that I'm making.
Pull down that end, close it up, make a nice round bottom, add a little air in there to even out those walls. Now you're going to go in and start to condense back this tubing to get a nice real even bubble.
So just going to heat up the whole thing and let that condense and fall back on itself a little bit, which will thicken up the wall and help me create a really nice even heat.
Making sure your marvers are nice and clean before you go in. Roll a little bit to help that nice even wall and add a little bit of air in there.
Make sure that it's all even heat before you blow into it, and that'll help you make a nice even sphere.
Wait a half second after you come out of the flame, and then blow in a couple stages, and then you're going to go back in, condense it a little, and puff it back out.
Blowing it out nice and thin, and heat it up one more time to kind of condense the wall and even everything out. Put a little bit more air into that.
Now you're going to go in and flatten the bottom here, just a little heat, and then cover the end as you press.
And that keeps the pressure inside the tube, which keeps it from disforming the shape.
And you're going to put a little bit of an indent in the bottom here.
So I'm heating up the bottom and pushing it in with my jacks, and that's going to create a nice indentation and a really nice elegant perfume bottle shape.
And now it also gives you a nice place to punty up.
But you got to be careful about breaking your punty off because it's very fragile there.
Very thin. And now you're going to go in and put a lot of heat up into the top of the bubble and stretch out the neck some.
And this will give a nice tapered neck for the perfume bottle.
Heating right just past your connection point there, flashing a little heat on your punty, and now you're going to go in and flame cut this off.
So I'm heating it up, and then I'm going to pop a little hole into it, and you got to be careful not to let this close up. And you see that I let it close up, so we're just going to open it up. You can grab a thin piece with your diamond shears, or you can kind of pry it open with your tweezers, which I'm going to do in a second.
If it doesn't quite go at first, you can heat it up and pull out a little bit of a hollow cone, and then you can snap that with your diamond shears, and it opens up a little hole.
You got to be careful when you're applying heat to a closed glass vessel because the negative pressure will create the hot glass to suck into it.
Now you have a little hole there, and you can open that up with your tweezers, spreading it, kind of working at 90 degree angles there to open it up.
And you see it's open now, and now I can open it a little bit with my jacks. And because I did all that work on the lip, I'm definitely going to have to trim the lip with my shears.
You're flashing a little heat on your punty on occasion so that it doesn't crack on you down there. Once it's nice and even it up with your jacks, and then you're going to heat it up and flare it out.
Flare it open with the jacks and make a nice 90 degree lip.
And that's nice and parallel with the bottom of that, and now you can snap it off your punty.
Make sure that your punty is not ice cold when you do that, otherwise you'll break a piece of the bottom off.
Now you're going to make a little perfume dabber for it and grab some 7 mil, creating a little gather on the end.
This is a great exercise. You should try to make the gather twice as thick in diameter than the rod. It's really good practice for keeping a lot of glass hot.
Punty up to the other side, and then go in and make a little Maria there and sharpen it on your V-blade. Help get that nice flat side that'll sit on the top of your bottle.
Heat up the bottom now. We're just going to do another taper just like we did on the horns. Just pull it down, make sure it's really nice and even and sharp.
Coming to a nice point there, pulling off, and then using the edge of your flame to get that very nice tip.
Yep, and this can be a dabber, this can be the perfume bottle. It's just a good thing to practice.
If it's a little long for your perfume bottle, just pull it off there, and then snap your punty off and polish off that point.
And there's the perfume bottle, or I guess that could be a jar for some clear.
We'll set that aside and finish off the rose vase.
So when you're going back into the rose vase, especially if you left it on the bench, you want to make sure not to heat up the bottom directly and heat the blow tube farther away from the bottom.
And that residual heat will kind of work its way up to that connection, and you're using that nice annealing flame on the GTT there. Now you can go in and pull out a nice round bottom on the end.
That's definitely good practice to make a round bottom on a piece that's really awkward to hold like this.
Once you have that nice even round bottom, you're going to heat up some 16 millimeter rod, pull out the end there, make it nice and clean, and then you're going to add on some root legs.
So we're going to add on 3 roots, and this is going to be 16 millimeter rod, making sure that the connection points are really nice and even.
Then going back in and heating up a section of this rod, getting it nice and hot all the way to the core, so you can pull it out and make some little twisted roots.
So once it's nice and even, you just pull it out, and you can see I'm pulling out slowly, keep it even, just wrapping it around, twisting the rod, and that's going to make a nice root, twisted spiral shape.
Pull out a taper on the end there, and you're ready to go in and do it again, condensing down the end of your rod there, tapering it so it's nice and even, and seal it onto the bottom.
Just going to attach it at a third so that they're evenly spaced on the bottom, making sure, again, this is really, all this is about is making those one stick seals.
And then heat up that section, pull it out, give it a little twist, separate that rod off, and then you can go back in and adjust it at all if you need to with your tweezers.
just adjusting it, making sure that it's going to be the right angle downward so that it'll sit evenly. I'm going to attach one more for the tripod root action.
Going in, heating up mostly that rod, getting a little heat on the bottom of that vessel as well, but not enough to deform it. And then sealing on, and you'll heat it up and pull it out. Flipping back and forth to get that heat even.
So I see that the taper is fairly even, the heat is fairly even on that. I'm going to pull it out and then just twist it around. So I'm twisting around with my arm and with my hand, and that makes the spiral.
And then go back in. You brush it on the edge of your flame, finish off that spiral as you pull out that taper.
And just pull the end off so it's nice and pointy there.
Using a little bit smaller rod, and now you're going to adjust them a little bit. Heat up near where they connect onto your vase and grab your tweezers to make it nice, make them stand nice and evenly.
Yeah, so you want to heat up all of them, and then kind of you see it's at an angle, and I just push it right on center and turn it a little bit, and that'll make sure that it's completely up and down.
Now we'll pop those in the kiln.
If we can fit them.
Just barely fits without opening the door there, but that's good to go. And we'll check those out. Very nice. The rose vase and a little perfume bottle there.
Yeah, these are definitely a couple of cool exercises I learned in Italy. There's a lot of good practice stuff in both these. The clear glass really will help you look at your shape and the lines of your shape and make sure your bubbles are even.
The nice elegant form of that perfume bottle there, or maybe clear bottle with a dabber.
There's the dabber in the perfume bottle, and the rose vase. You can see all the horns nice and sharp. Got to be careful with those. They are definitely very sharp.
Going all the way up the side there, those nice tapers, evenly spaced, and of course the twisted roots as well.
These are for 2 of you guys. Just comment on the video. Let us know what you think.
We'll send them out to a couple of you guys.
What's up, guys? Welcome back. Thanks for watching the video. We hoped you learned a trick or two, maybe something you can use in your own work. These are really good exercises that incorporate a lot of things, you know, blowing even spheres, tapered heat, so definitely something to practice.
Absolutely, and you get a cool vase when you're done too.
For sure, you can give it to your grandma for the holidays.
I have some questions for you, Dustin.
Uh-huh.
First up, Nathan Hemphill would like to know, what kind of tip do you have on your mini torch?
Yeah, sure. I have a blast shield tip. It's the single hole, the smaller version of that. The other one is the Hornet tip that works really good. But you can get the blast shield one at Blast Shield. Talk to Tyra and she'll hook it up for you.
Very cool. Next up, Miles High Club would like to know, why do you only use a blow hose sometime when you're working on projects?
Sure. Well, I mean, the simple answer is because it's only sometimes necessary. Glass is kind of, you have to take it into account every time you blow glass, and every time there's different circumstances. So sometimes I want it there to help me with blowing, keeping it even, or it depends what angle I'm going to be holding it at, and you know, if I think it'll be necessary, or if it's hot and I want to put the boot on, you know, all that stuff.
Sometimes you just want to go right into it and just use the regular glass blow tube.
Yeah, you guys should totally practice doing both and have both those skill sets, just like attaching blow tubes and pulling points.
Finally, Max Clare would like to know, when you pick up your mini torch, how's it attached to your bench there? Is it like a magnet, or what
That's
do
a
you
good question. I have a broom holder that I got at Home Depot.
Nice.
So I think you go to like the janitorial supply section, and there's like all these clips and stuff. You guys should spend like an hour looking at those different clips and get your studio all organized.
It's nice. They just slide right in there. You have them for your couple different small hand torches.
Yeah,
there.
all my hand torches, and I have those magnets that I got in the same section. If you look at the wide angle shots, all my metal tools along the wall, it's like the same area of the store I got the magnets.
It's nice to be able to keep yourself organized, and then you have all your color right down below in
For
some
sure.
either PVC or glass tubes. Work great.
Yep, exactly. The colors in some tubes.
Well, very cool. I think we should give away these projects from last week.
All right.
We have some ornaments. This dabber is off to Grant Harrison.
All right, Grant, enjoy that.
I hope you enjoy.
This ornament is going to Jonah Tovar, and enjoy that. Put that on your tree or your bush, whatever you got.
And this final one is going out to Mario Huana. I hope you enjoy, Mario. Just send me your address at kevin@revereglass.com, and I will send those right out.
For sure, yeah. Also send Kevin an email if you're going to be on the East Coast in Massachusetts.
Totally. I'm headed back there for a week around the holidays. So if you're out there and you blow glass or anything, want to hang out, let me know. Shoot me an email.
Yeah, and remember to shoot me an email if you're in Italy and you want to link up. And I totally wanted to thank you guys again for the Patreon, and we just passed 20,000 subscribers.
So cool. Thank you guys so much.
It's amazing. We love doing it, and we love being here with you. So we'll definitely put out another On the Torch pretty soon, and see what's next for us.
I hope you guys have a happy holidays. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Bye.